We are looking at Grace's underwater backstroke commentary by Coach Chris. We're going to play this real time. The first thing that I see is, I see a lot of strong fundamentals underwater. I'm seeing a little bit of a slip with the hands, and we'll talk about that. And I'm seeing a little bit, we got a little bit low hips. We got a little bit of a flat stroke as far as getting those shoulders down and in. So let's try and take these one at a time. And we'll also talk about some restraint. So get her in frame a little better. So, I mean, if you look at this, right now she's keeping that shoulder up, which keeps that hand really shallow to the surface, And it's really this first phase that she's being impatient with. She's trying to pull too soon, basically. So her hand comes in, and immediately it starts pulling. She has to let that shoulder roll down and let the hand travel a little bit deeper, right to about here, underwater. That's where she wants that hand to go before she thinks about pulling, grabbing the water and pulling it. Because you have that phase. You have that phase where your hand enters and you're reaching, and then you have that phase where you grab the water and start pulling it. She, as soon as her hand gets wet and submerges, she's grabbing right here. This is the grab phase. Grabbing the water, anchoring her hand. She needs to let that hand continue down. Her recovery hasn't finished. The over the water part of the recovery hasn't finished just because the hand's wet. It finishes when the hand gets to the spot you want to be, the depth you want to be to start that pull. So it should go down into the water. She shouldn't start pulling until she gets that hand deeper. But part of that is because the shoulder's staying up. And part of why the shoulder's staying up is because of this. She's keeping her hips really flat and low. So she focuses on getting her hips up a little bit more power from the kick. Try and keep the chest a little bit higher. See, the chest is submerged, and we bring those hips up, just a couple more inches and lay back a little more. What that's going to do is give her the ability to really twist or torque the hips with her stroke. She's going to really be able to throw her hips into the stroke. She's got a nice narrow kick, which is what she wants to do that. But she just needs to keep the shoulders and hips more of a unit and roll side to side. And when she does that, she'll be able to get her hips. Like, as this shoulder comes in, as she gets that shoulder in, she should be rolling onto her side a little bit more here so she can get that hand deeper and an anchor and pull. And she's got a good follow through and finish. I really like this bottom phase of her stroke. It's just she's slipping the front part because this isn't, this angle, she's reaching back underneath her shoulder. This angle isn't quite a powerful angle because the shoulder's too close to the surface, it's too flat. She needs to just get on her side, roll that shoulder deeper, get the hand deeper, anchor it, then pull with the hand deeper. At this phase, her hand should be somewhere down here. And her shoulder should be lower. Her shoulder should be about here, about 2 inches lower. She'd have a bent elbow, and she'd be pulling like that. Like that's the arm. That's where her arm should be. And right now you can see it's a slight bend. It's the hands towards the surface, the shoulders toward the surface. The hand only gets, that's a good way to put it, the hand only gets as deep as this shoulder. The hand will always be at the same depth of the shoulder. So if you want that hand deeper, you got to roll the shoulder deeper. And there's way more power in that. Now from here, she's got a really good push. She's pushing back. I mean, you can see the water in the bubbles. You can watch them go this way. I mean, she's driving that way with her pull. And that's perfect. That means she's pushing herself forward. So just getting more of a better grip of the water by getting on your side more, getting the hand deeper. This hand's a good example. It just entered. Watch it start pulling. It's going to start pulling to the side. That hand gets a little deeper, but we need to let it carry down further. Get a little more on her side. So unlocking the power in that pull, getting the hips up a little higher by keeping the chest out, head back, keeping that throat open. You know, that sort of alignment stuff will bring those hips up. Solid kick. Not very solid on the turn. I mean, look, she's looking up. She's planting her feet properly. I mean, this is solid underwater mechanics for this turn. Push off. Now, here's my favorite part of all this. Watch this glide. Oh, that's beautiful. I harp on this all the time because it's very easy to underestimate how effective a good glide is for a race. I mean, you watch her. This is the fastest she can possibly move through the water. Right there. And she is riding it about as far as she can. And look at how tight her feet are and her arms are. This is unusual for a child this age. I mean, she's doing an excellent job here. Nothing. You don't see any movement of the legs. You don't see any wiggling of the hips. You don't see anything loose. She's got everything locked in. She's a solid projectile. I mean, this is as good as it gets for this glide. And, you know, awesome job. Now she starts her kick. I mean, she's already to the end of the flags. Her hands are right to the end of the flags. You can see at the top of the screen before she even takes her first kick. Now, a little bit of relaxation in the hips will help. I tell kids when they're starting the dolphin kick, they need to be tight from the ribs up and loose from the ribs down. So from the stomach down, basically, she needs to be more relaxed. Because you can tell, I mean, watch her do these kicks. We'll rewind a little bit. Watch these kicks. Nice and wide, but you're just seeing a little bit, we can get a little more hip movement out of them. They're just a little stiff. So relax the hips. You know, she's real tight for the glide like she's supposed to be. But once she transitions to that first kick, you got to just let all those core muscles relax. Keep the streamline tight from the ribs to the fingertips. That's the front end of your projectile. But let everything else relax so you can get a little more hip movement. And again, just a little, we talked about this on the overwater, just a little bit impatient. Look at how much space we have. She's trying to get up. She doesn't want to get water up her nose. What she should be doing is keep kicking, and she actually should be looking this way, where her arm is. That's the direction she should look. That'll pull her head this way. So her head should be here. She should be looking up. That'll start getting her direction will be going this way. So eyes up and forward where her arms are reaching will get the head back more, which will make her lean back. Now she'll stay underwater longer, but that's what she wants. And she'll be along, I mean, this right now, because she's looking this way, it pulls her head out of position. And it's causing her to move this way for the breakout, which is up. It's not forward. If she keeps that head back as she approaches the water, adds about 2 or 3 more kicks, keeping the eyes up and head back will get her going this way, which will be an infinitely faster breakout. So real solid stroke mechanics. Just have to get more rotation in the body. More rotation, particularly in the hips and shoulders. Keep them as a unit. And as her hand comes in, be more patient. Let the hand and body roll a little more before she starts to grab that water and anchor the hand. Get the hand and shoulder deeper. Remember, where your shoulder is, depth-wise underwater, is where your hand gets. So let both get deeper so she can grab better water and pull along the same exact path, especially that low end of her stroke. She does a great job of pushing at that bottom half of her pole. It's the top half. She has to get the hand deeper and so she can start moving the water and get a better grip on the water earlier.